March 2020, the world shut down. Everyone stayed home baking sourdough bread and doing TikTok dances. Everyone except Kelly Clarkson. Kelly was writing music, and Gwen Stefani was watching. Gwen Stefani was paying attention, and Gwen Stefani got jealous. So jealous that she admitted it publicly on television multiple times.
I just get on with your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? But there was just this inner voice that just was like, you got to do it.
You mean guilty
Because you
you
weren't
didn't
with your
wanna-
kids?
Yeah.
Just because, yeah, it takes so much time.
What she said revealed the real difference between these two women and why one of them was thriving while the other had lost herself. Spring 2020, COVID quarantine. Gwen is at home with her 3 boys doing homeschool, making 3 meals a day, cleaning, trying to keep everyone sane, just like millions of other moms. Her phone keeps buzzing, Kelly Clarkson texting her, sending demos, new songs Kelly just wrote, one after another. Gwen couldn't understand it. Kelly has 2 young kids. River is 6, Remington is 4, Kelly's going through a divorce. She filed in June 2020. It's messy, it's public, it's painful. And somehow Kelly is writing music constantly.
Okay. Compartmentalization. So I love you too. This next song, I've never rewritten a song more, and I probably never will. I wrote this song with a lot of hope.
Gwen later told the Odyssey Check-In podcast exactly what she thought. Kelly kept texting me all these demos of songs she'd been writing during quarantine, Gwen said. And I was confused. We're in quarantine. I'm doing homeschooling. I'm cleaning toilets. I'm trying to make 3 meals a day. I'm learning how to make sourdough like everybody else. When are you writing these songs?
I wasn't planning on it, and then I just get this call out of nowhere that Amazon is like, hey, you want to write a song for this Michelle Pfeiffer Christmas Amazon movie? I was like, dang, like.
Kelly's answer was simple. I don't sleep. Kelly Clarkson stayed up all night writing music while everyone slept, while her kids were asleep. While the world was quiet, she poured her pain into songs, her divorce, her heartbreak, her anger, her grief. All of it going into music.
It's incredible. I'm being funny, but it's an incredible thing. Like not many artists are ever gonna see that.
Gwen Stefani hadn't released a solo album since 2017. 3 years. And she was jealous. She admitted it on The Kelly Clarkson Show in December 2020. She told Kelly directly, "Me being jealous of you made me want to do new music." Think about that. Gwen Stefani, rock icon, no doubt frontwoman, pop star who sold over 50 million records worldwide, 3 Grammy Awards, fashion designer, married to one of country music's biggest stars, jealous of Kelly Clarkson. Not because Kelly had more money or more fame, because Kelly was creating while Gwen was stuck making bread and doing laundry.
I don't know if I chose myself. I think I kept, like, I think it felt like the inner voice might be, okay, we all have a purpose, right? And, like, obviously one of the purpose of my life is to be a mother and a wife and all the things, but.
And here's what makes this interesting. Gwen wasn't jealous of Kelly's relationship with Blake. That's what everyone expected. Kelly and Blake have incredible chemistry on The Voice. They're best friends. They roast each other constantly. They worked together for years, season 14 through season 23. Kelly joined in 2018. Blake had been there since day 1 in 2011. By the time Gwen came back to the show, Kelly and Blake had this sibling-like bond that was undeniable. But that didn't bother Gwen.
So, like, anxious about writing and insecure, and I have writer's block and all these things, and she said, what you waiting for, Gwen Stefani? And then I came in the next day and she had this, like, crazy song, and that's how that song was born. What is Gwen Stefani's phone number?
I can understand how you guys feel. It's the worst possible feeling. It's confusion, it's anger, it's just an overall brokenness.
Gwen became friends with Kelly because Kelly was close to Blake. They bonded over their divorces. Gwen divorced Gavin Rossdale in 2016 after 13 years of marriage. Kelly filed for divorce from Brandon Blackstock in 2020. They talked about it, supported each other, became genuine friends. Gwen said in an extra TV interview in October 2020 that she and Kelly had been talking a lot about divorce, about using music as therapy, about how lucky they were to have that creative outlet. So the jealousy wasn't about Blake. It was about purpose, about identity, about remembering who you are when life tries to make you forget. Gwen said while her 3 sons were always her priority, she realized she needed to do something for herself. We all have a purpose. Her purpose wasn't just being Blake Shelton's wife or her son's mother. Her purpose was music. Kelly Clarkson reminded her of that by texting those demos, by staying up all night writing, by refusing to let her pain paralyze her.
You look fantastic. How is it in Oklahoma? I always imagine like Green Acres, you being out there.
It's not that green right now.
Kelly was going through hell in 2020. Her divorce from Brandon Blackstock was brutal. The custody battle was ugly. Brandon's management company sued her for $1.4 million in unpaid commissions. Kelly had to pay him $1.3 million up front, plus $115,000 a month in spousal support plus child support. A nightmare, and Kelly turned it into art. She released her album Chemistry in 2023. The entire album was about her relationship with Brandon from beginning to bitter end. Every song was therapy. It all started during quarantine when she couldn't sleep because her heart was broken.
I don't know how anybody, I'll just be real with you, goes through grief, like divorce, any kind of grief, any kind of loss, without having an outlet.
With a more than 3-year legal battle, the talk show host has filed a countersuit against her former husband and his father, Narsel Blackstock's manager.
Gwen watched Kelly channel pain into productivity. It made her jealous enough to do something. Gwen admitted on the Today Show that Kelly's texts made her think, wait, I'm making bread and doing homeschool. When would I even have time to write? But Kelly was making time by not sleeping, by prioritizing her art even when her life was falling apart.
And I have a record out. I wanted this so bad. There was this like inner voice like, make a record, make a record. And I'm like, really? Like, should I? Can I? And it took a while, but here we are.
Gwen realized she could do the same thing. The result was Gwen's 5th solo album, Bouquet, released November 15th, 2024, 7 years after her last solo album, her longest gap ever between releases. She credits Kelly Clarkson for pushing her to make it, for making her jealous enough to remember she's not just Blake's wife or a mom or a coach on The Voice. She's Gwen Stefani, and Gwen Stefani makes music. Here's what Gwen's jealousy confession reveals: the fundamental difference between how these two women handle adversity. Kelly Clarkson doesn't stop. And when life knocks her down, she writes about it, processes it, turns it into something beautiful or angry or raw. She doesn't stop creating even when exhausted, even when heartbroken, even when she has every excuse to take a break. She stays up all night and writes. Gwen needed a push. She needed to see someone else doing it first. She needed permission to prioritize herself again. She needed to feel jealous enough to take action. Different people process things differently. But it shows the contrast between someone who creates out of necessity versus someone who creates when inspired.
When do I like myself the most? And it was right when Blake started loving me. And I wanted to write a song about that because when you actually feel love.
Kelly won American Idol in 2002. She was 20 years old. From that moment on, she never stopped working even when she didn't have to, even when she had enough money and fame and success. She kept pushing, kept writing, kept performing. That's her therapy. That's her oxygen. She doesn't know how to not create. Gwen has always been more collaborative, more dependent on her environment. No Doubt was her baby for years. Then she went solo, then back to No Doubt, then solo again. Her music has always been tied to her relationships, her love life, her emotional state. When things are good, she creates. When things are hard, she retreats. That's why there was a 7-year gap. She got comfortable, got married, was happy. And happy Gwen doesn't feel the urgency to create the way heartbroken Kelly does.
We just started this friendship, which was just unbelievable that God would put us in a position to have each other at that moment, in that, like, in the same exact moment.
That's the real story. Not that Gwen was jealous of Kelly, but what that jealousy represented, the realization that she'd let herself disappear. that she'd gotten so comfortable being Mrs. Blake Shelton that she forgot she was Gwen Stefani first. And Kelly, going through the worst time of her life, was still being Kelly Clarkson, still writing, still creating, still being herself even when everything else was falling apart. Gwen told the Today Show her jealousy was a wake-up call. She saw Kelly's work ethic, her commitment to writing while juggling motherhood and a career and a divorce. Gwen thought, if Kelly can do it, I can do it. She went back to the studio, started writing again, reconnected with who she was before the pandemic, before the marriage, before she lost herself in domesticity. The album Bouquet debuted at number 95 on the Billboard 200. It sold 13,000 copies first week. Not exactly a massive commercial success, but that wasn't the point. The point was Gwen Stefani made music again. The point was she remembered who she was. And it took Kelly Clarkson's middle-of-the-night texts to remind her. So when Gwen admits she was jealous of Kelly, what she's really saying is, thank you. Thank you for showing me it's possible to be a mom and an artist. Thank you for reminding me I don't have to choose. Thank you for not letting your pain stop you from creating. Because watching you refuse to give up made me refuse to give up too. And that's why Gwen Stefani admitted she was jealous of Kelly Clarkson. Subscribe for more stories about how artists' personal lives reshape their careers. Thanks for watching.